So we're going to talk about how you go from disputes to lawsuits. In order to have a successful lawsuit, y'all, you must administrate your dispute process first outside of court. Okay, so we're going to be reading from the FCRA, Fair Credit Reporting Act. So let's go to 15 USC 1681 GA1. Okay, so we're going to go down where it says every consumer reporting agency. Okay, so Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. I'm talking about them right now, but this refers to all consumer reporting agencies. But right now we're talking about the main three that you guys are disputing with and you're trying to clean up your consumer report. So every consumer reporting agency shall, upon request, clearly and accurately disclose to the consumer: 1, all information in the consumer's file at the time of the request. It says all of the information in your file at the time of request. So when you are sending letters out to the consumer reporting agencies disputing inaccurate, incomplete information, you must know in reference to the subsections of the law, so they can support you in your disputes. You must know these codes, because if you want to go from disputes to lawsuits, suing the consumer reporting agencies, you have to know what laws, what codes can back you up in court. You have to know how to object to these companies when they are stating false information. You know, they like to lie all the time. They like to send you information that you didn't ask for. They just send you anything. So if the code says the consumer reporting agency shall, upon request, clearly and accurately disclose to the consumer all information in the consumer file, then that's what they must do. So for example, if you sent a notice to the consumer reporting agency notifying them of inaccurate, incomplete information on your consumer report, and let's say they say it came back verified. They say it's verified. Now, you can request a description of the investigation procedure. The law says you can request how they are going about their investigation. See, a lot of us don't know that, and we don't ask for that information, but you can request that. So if they're saying that the information is verified, you can say, hey, I need you to reinvestigate these accounts. So if you Google 15 USC 1681I, it talks about the description of the reinvestigation procedure. So let's go there. So let's go down to 7, and we're going to read what it says. So it says, description of reinvestigation procedure. A consumer reporting agency shall provide to the consumer a description, not later than 15 days after receiving a request from the consumer of that description. So it tells you you can write them a request that they send you the description back in 15 days. I want to see what's going on. I want to see what's in my file. Okay, so let's jump back to 15 USC 1681 GA1. So these disclosures they talk about, the consumer reporting agency should have already had them attached to your file. So before any account can be inserted to a consumer report, there's procedures, y'all, that the consumer reporting agencies shall follow. They have to make sure before putting that information on your consumer report that it's 100% accurate. And that's why it's very important when it comes to your disputes to speak on these subsections, because you have the right to request all the information in your file, information that should have already been there. So if you are sending letters and they are not responding to your request, it's probably because the disclosures, the description of the investigation procedure is not attached to your file. Could it be that the consumer reporting agencies are not following those procedures that the law speaks of? Could it be that? See, we got to think. Was the investigation even done? Or are they just telling you what they want to tell you? So you want to make sure you are controlling your dispute process in a way where you are not letting them off the hook. Don't give them no breaks. What does the law says? You have to know the laws. You have to stick to what each subsection is saying. So if the law is telling you there is a description of the investigation procedure attached to your consumer file, and you have the right to request all the information in the file, and they fail to do so, that is one way to go from disputes to lawsuits. I'm telling you, you have to understand and go over the laws and read it and comprehend it. Ask questions. So you gotta study the FCRA when it comes to disputing with the consumer reporting agencies. You have to ask questions. You have to ask for information. Before you take your claim to court, you must know your cause of action. What are the failed requirements? Do you know that? What part of the FCRA they failed to comply with? What subsection can you sue under? Before you go from disputes to lawsuits, you have to know these things. Okay? You have to study the FCRA. Don't wait to be great.